And then Panic or Peace. Finally.
Yes.
The last segment.
The greatest segment.
Panic or Peace.
Yes.
And we get to introduce our buttons. Okay, so this is what we do for Panic or Peace. First one, Panic. This is the button we're doing. You're going to hear that if it's a panic. And then if it's peace, yay. Okay, so I'm gonna give topics like I did in the last one with Asa. We're going to talk about them, and then we're going to say whether it's time to panic or be at peace with what's going on. And first two ones I want to do, because we are recording this on a Thursday, and the Thursday night game starts in about an hour and a half, hour 15 minutes or so, like that. So it is Broncos versus Colts. So the first, and these are two teams that are perfect to do it with, honestly. So first one right here, panic or peace, Russell Wilson. I said and the Broncos, but you can really take that either way. To me, the biggest problem is Russell Wilson. So I would say Russell Wilson, panic or peace.
Russ, we going peace. And this is why I say
going peace?
Yes. I think Russ figures it out, you know. I mean, this guy's a proven winner. Like, as in, he going to understand. You know he's going to work, too. So it's not like he's going to get complacent. And I don't think that the playbook is going to be anything hard for him. I think he can overcome, you know, a lot of his a lot of his struggles early on this year. But, I mean, I think when Peyton Manning first got to the Broncos, they didn't start off that great. Well,
they struggled for a little bit.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit. So, I mean, it takes time for some of these quarterbacks. This is a new situation. He's been with Seattle his entire career. I think he's still probably getting adjusted, you know. I don't know if he's fully comfortable yet. So, I mean, I think it's time. You can still have peace for us for now, you know. I think it's still time to have peace for him. The guy's proven. There's a difference when you, like, we know what you can do versus when we
You've
don't.
been there.
You know.
Exactly. I agree. Russell Wilson, peace. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Like, everyone's comparing Geno Smith to him. Geno Smith is on a Cinderella run.
Right.
He is throwing almost 80% right now. That's not something that's going to continue. Exactly. He's passing 77%. Like, no, that's not going to continue. I think Nathaniel Hackett has to figure it out. He has to know the way that Russell Wilson plays is like they said, you do have to let Russ cook a little bit. Like, you do have to let him get into those off-schedule plays and make big plays with his feet. And
that's kind of what he does.
Exactly, extend plays and stuff like that. And to me, you have to run a little bit better routes. Judy shouldn't only be running deep routes. Judy can catch a slant and take it to the house. Judy's a fast, shifty guy. Cortland Sutton shouldn't be the only one catching things 10 yards and lower.
Facts.
That doesn't make any sense. So and then you got to play different with your running back. Javonte Williams is a great running back, but when your O-line is not amazing that you can just run the ball straight down someone's throat, you have to get a little bit creative with the way that you run the ball. You have to get those passing, get the passing to the backs, especially with Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. They can both catch out the backfield. So I don't fully blame what's going on with the Broncos on Russell Wilson. I will say he has looked worse than what we've seen him before, but I don't think it lasts. And tonight, I think he goes out there, and I think he kind of hushes some people up against a pretty solid defense in the Colts. So we both went peace on Russell Wilson. Number 2, Matt Ryan in the Colts.
Slatty Ice.
Oh, Slatty Ice. Oh, my God.
You want to go first on that?
So tough. Yeah. Dude, I'm mad, man. I wanted Matty to be so good. And the thing that hurts me the most is because my dad, who was on the show like episode 2, he tried to tell me, he was like, dude, I don't know what you see in Matt Ryan. You love to have Matt Ryan, especially in his last season with the Falcons. I was like, he doesn't look bad. Like, to me, it didn't look like he was doing terrible. He looked like a solid starting quarterback. He was a little bit out of his prime. He's older. Like, that made sense of what we were seeing.
Yeah.
But going to the Colts, a team that was more well-rounded, has a great O-line, has Jonathan freaking Taylor, has a defense that is as good as they are with Shaq Leonard and the guys in the backfield and in their pass rush too. I don't see what's the problem, honestly. I don't know if it's coaching, which I can't even say is that. Matt Ryan has thrown like 5 picks and 5 touchdowns. He's even on both. He's had a lot of games that have not looked good. He's not on chemistry with his receivers. It's time to panic for the Colts. I think the Jaguars are at the point where they're about to run away with the division in the AFC South, and that really sucks because I wanted to see Matt Ryan at least be able to make, the playoffs on a different team, and people not to have this stigma where they just stick Matt Ryan as he had one good season.
Yeah,
because he didn't. He had a lot of good seasons.
He did for sure,
and he was elite. He was an elite quarterback in my opinion. For
he
a while. I'm a
absolutely
Falcons
was.
fan.
He absolutely was. That's me being
yeah.
unbiased for sure. Just being
but it's panic.
Yeah, being a Georgia native, you watch this guy. This guy's a legend.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's for sure a legend. He played great. I mean, he's thrown for 4K how many times?
It's like, I don't even know, man.
Let's get serious.
I think he had a streak where he had like almost 2 or 3 seasons where he didn't have a game where he passed almost under 200 yards.
Insane.
Like, that's not real.
That's insane.
Like,
yeah, it's panic time. OG ain't got it no more, man. But it's okay though. Like, I mean, I think this was like his Phillip Rivers year. This the last year out. You know, I was kind of feeling that for Matty.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a good comparison.
I don't see like if he doesn't get it on track tonight, it's not gonna happen. Because I mean, he don't have much time left there. I think the Colts are gonna be looking for a quarterback next season for sure. So
they're moving into that second quarter of the season.
Yeah,
the first 4 games are over.
Yeah,
we see what they are.
Yeah, I don't really think we got to hold on too much of this. I mean, Matty, I don't want to say he's cooked because I don't think he's per se cooked, but I say the Colts aren't going anywhere. I don't see it.
Nah. Next one, Raiders. They looked terrible in their first 3 games. They won that last one against the Broncos. They barely made it out. Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels,
Mickey D.
You already panicked. So I'll let you talk about it. They're done.
This is my guy, Mickey D's, but man, this is always something that's going to be a knack on Josh McDaniels. His play calling is too safe. It's too safe. When you don't got, like, I mean, it's so safe, but then you got a guy like Derek Carr throwing picks in it. It's like you're running the ball. Like, you
have to run the ball.
Exactly. You're running the ball.
That's the only way they've won so far.
But, yeah, exactly. You're running the ball. So it's like, also with McDaniel's offense, it's not conducive to, like, have a star wide receiver. You can even go back to his years when he was coaching as a head coach with Denver. In 2007, you got a guy in Brandon Marshall who's come out and stated, he said, like, McDaniels doesn't treat you like a number 1 over there. Like, he had to tell him in game, throw me the ball. Well, let the ball get to me. And that's kind of insane. Like, I think Devontae is going to be having that similar type of season where he's like, I don't feel like they're treating me like a number 1 right now because the targets aren't there or, you know, it's just not a connection.
I agree. I think Josh McDaniels has to work a little bit better with the players he has and using them in the correct way. I see him use Josh Jacobs in the correct way for the first time last game against the Broncos, being able to run the ball a lot, which sucks for the Colts tonight because they needed Jonathan Taylor, but he's out.
Ooh.
But because, the Broncos defense, they just let up 144. Ooh. So Jonathan Taylor would have went so dumb, which I'm glad because I think I'm playing him on one of my fantasy teams. So –
for sure, miracle.
Thank God. Oh God. But I like the Raiders, and I really thought they could be able to do something this year. Not only because they got better offensively, but it looked like they got better defensively in terms of on paper. But I haven't seen any of that pay off so far right now. And even Hunter Renfrow doesn't look good.
That's
been getting
the craziest
injured.
Part.
Exactly, bro. Like, he's supposed to be Mr. Reliable, and he doesn't look good. Derek Carr's throwing picks. Josh Jacobs barely had one good game, and Darren Waller is missing. I don't know. He's had one game. He's had one game that he's been good
I'd be
so
surprised
far.
if he ends, like, the season in a Raiders jersey.
Exactly. And to me, there's so many – like, when you have Darren Waller, and it's crazy that that's not a wild statement to say. Like, I could understand that. But, like, when you have Darren Waller and Devontae Adams on the same team, it seems like it could be so easy. Like, there's not many people that can have the personnel to guard 2 players like that in terms of what they're able to do and talent. If you line them up on the same side of the field, a lot of teams are going to be done. But for some reason, it's not working. So right now, panic. I'm sorry, Raiders. Like, it doesn't look good. Right now, the 3 teams
to be playing
exactly
like that. Like,
exactly. Like, losing to teams out of division is really not an option for anyone in the AFC West
at all.
You cannot let that go. You have to have it be those head-to-heads and make it close. Like, so right now, yeah, Raiders are done. Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos are going to be the 3 teams that are fighting it out. And who knows? All 3 could possibly make it with how the wild card situation plays out. And then after that, I have Bill Belichick. I know this is one you didn't want to really talk about, but since Tom Brady's been gone, y'all have made, one playoff, I think, so far.
We had one playoff game.
Yeah, y'all got beat pretty bad in that playoff game. It wasn't particularly close. It was Bills, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year with the Bills. Mac Jones' first year, so you give them kind of leeway. They weren't supposed to make the playoffs anyway. I'll say that. I'll give them those props. So congrats that they did make it. But overall, Bill Belichick, in terms of being a GM, has not been great. In terms of being a defensive coach, sure, the defense has looked awesome. Offense has been up and down. It looked decent at points last year. It fell off near the end. This year, it hasn't really gotten going. And a lot of that can be blamed on what he's done as a GM. So, in my opinion, this is so tough to say when you have a coach that has won this many Super Bowls and been this great for so long. But I'm starting it. I'm saying it now.
Oh,
Panic.
wow.
Bill Belichick is, if he's going to continue to draft the way he does and do the things he does in terms of signing players in the offseason, I don't know how you can win like that. And they will give him the benefit of the doubt, and they might let him coach 5 more years with this team being mediocre, and it won't matter. But they will still be what they are right now. So right now, it's time to panic for me, because I don't see Robert Kraft making that decision to get rid of Bill. Not saying he needs to get rid of now. I give him at least 2 more years, but after that, that's when you got to at least put him on the hot seat, man. Because right now, if it's this is the 3rd year without Tom Brady, and it hasn't really changed. Yeah. So panic.
I say panic in terms of him being the GM. He's got somebody else got to do that. Like, let's get real here. But in terms of coaching, I'll say we're at peace. And then I say that by saying peace because, I mean, Belichick is the defense is still not terrible. Like, we've played competitive this year. A lot of games we've won. I mean, a lot of games we've lost have been close games. We lost to Green Bay by 3. We lost that game late in Baltimore. And in Miami, we just got outplayed. I can honestly say that. We just got outplayed. But a lot of that has to – I say it's a little unfair to blame it on Bill, like, entirely, because I feel like Mac Jones, yeah, that's been a setback. But I really feel like you got to get an offensive coordinator. Matt Patricia cannot be the offensive coordinator for this team if we plan on being a good team. No. I would just be honest with that. No. But as far as Bill Belichick coaching the defense, I think he still knows football. I don't know if he knows players well as far as like what guys fit in his quote unquote system. They're trying to run this Kyle Shanahan like offense, but we don't have the offensive line that are like with agile guys that can move around and run block with finesse and lead block and all that. We don't have that, but we drafted a guy in Cole Strange like that. So I'm trying to give Belichick the benefit of the doubt that he sees something a light at the end of this tunnel that he's trying to build. I just don't know right now.
Yeah, I agree. I can understand. I won't say I agree. I can understand what you mean by Bill Belichick as a GM, panic, and then as a coach, peace. Because as a coach, like you said, like I don't see where they've dropped off much defensively, which is mostly what he does. Offensively, like you said, you can see where, in terms of who he signed, has hurt them on the offensive side. Smith. And then you can see you can see in terms of who they've signed on the defensive side are really not signed back because they've let go on the defensive side. Yeah, exactly. Has hurt them. Yeah. But I will say that, one, Bill Belichick has to figure out how to man up and say that he needs help. Yes. Go out there and get a GM and go out there and get an offensive coordinator. They will know how to get players to fit a system once they sit down and talk about what they want to do with Mac Jones, a quarterback who is a very solid quarterback when you put some things around him. He's not a guy who can just do it by himself, but he can definitely have some weapons around him, some guys that are at least solid, and then do a lot better than what he's doing right now. And of course, he's also hurt. So I think that, yes, I'm still pressing panic on Bill Belichick because I don't believe he's going to go out and do those things. Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to give up the fact that he's the GM, and they might go out and get another offensive coordinator. I could see that. Yeah. But him giving up GM, I don't see that happening.
Don't see him giving up GM.
And as long as he's being the GM and not letting other guys have a hand in a say in that, it's not going to go well no matter what offensive coordinator you get in there.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that too, for sure. I wondered, will Robert Kraft have to basically force his hand, like, hey, you can either be the GM of this team, or you can either be the head coach of this team and not the GM, or you can just not be on this, be part of this organization anymore. What do you think Bill would say to that? Like,
depends how Bill's pride is. He is a prideful man. Like, he stands. Yes, he definitely stands on what he feels like, bro. So I would not be surprised to see him be like, hey, man, I've had what he's had a great career. You can't take that away from him in terms of what he's been able to do with Tom Brady.
Do you see him leaving football, though?
That man's 70, man. What else?
It doesn't matter. Some guys, it doesn't matter with a guy like that. That man will die coaching football.
Bruh. Yes, if he's not on the Patriots, I don't see him coaching anywhere else.
I can see him try to go somewhere like it'd have to be a team he's been on before. So maybe New York. Like, it'd have to be an ownership group that he's been a part of.
That'd be so wild if he went back to New York after what they did to the Patriots twice. Nah, no.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely insane. New York or Cleveland. I could
Cleveland would love him. I know that. They would love to have him back. So, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't see him going anywhere. I don't see him going
anywhere
if they kick him out, he's
done. If they kick him out, you never know. The man has a lot of pride. He could try to come back.
Kick him out. I see him having a better chance of going and teaming up with Nick Saban in college versus coming out and going to another NFL team. And I don't think either of those is happening. I think he's going straight to the couch. I think he's done.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I took some out of here. I took out Tom Brady and the Bucs. We don't have to talk about that. I think the verdict is still out on that. We'll see. I took out Justin Fields because I'll chill on him for right now. That's not something we need to talk about. And then I took out Marcus Mariota. I like to talk about that when we get Danny on the show.
Oh, that's going to be a great combo right there, man. For sure.
But I want to do the two Super Bowl teams. Matt Stafford and the Rams, and then Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You can give them back-to-back so we can try to keep this under 50 minutes here.
So, panic or peace? I'm at peace with both squads. No, that's a joke. I'm at peace with the Bengals. As far as the Rams, no. Not at peace with them guys. And I'll say this. With the Bengals, I think last game they got it together. Against Miami. That I feel like that was the game they needed to boost their confidence up as a whole squad. I think Tyreek Hill, you can shout him out for that, for giving them guys a fire, you know what I'm saying? With the Eli Apple.
He said that.
I don't know. Yeah. You don't give teams momentum. You don't give teams momentum.
For what? At all. Just talking, man.
But I think the Bengals get it back
because last year on the Chiefs.
Exactly. I think the Bengals get it rolling. I mean, that offense is just, bro, they can go to either one of those receivers. They can go to either one. Then you have Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon felt like he was getting it going last game. He felt like he was finally getting his legs turning for real. He got his first touchdown.
Hayden Hurst
Hayden Hurst was getting it. And then the defense was not bad. Aside, you're going against one of the top offenses in Miami. Awuzie was, of course, he was getting cooked, but that back line secondary, them safeties were there. They were playing
Bates
well.
And,
Bates and Von Bell too. He's there over there. He got a pick, I think, in the game.
Yeah, Von Bell, Mike Hilton.
Yeah, Mike Hilton. All looked like
they were doing pretty well out there.
Rams.
And then wait, I'll let you say something. I'll let you say what you say about the Rams.
I'll say I don't believe in Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry. I feel like honestly, that defense. I feel like it did a lot of things for them last season. And Cooper Kupp, Odell and
Cooper
Cooper
Kupp,
Kupp, it's gonna be
Odell.
Odell and Cooper Kupp. Like for what they did last season, it's gonna be crazy to see like how this season plays out. Like without Odell, like Cooper Kupp is still balling, but he don't have that second receiver to spell him, to help him out
Hmm.
when he's getting double covered or something like that. And I don't Matthew Stafford just looks at one receiver right now, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I mean, then that defense is going through it right now. I don't know what's going on with them. They just don't look like they're in together.
I actually just switched my answer on this, but I agree. Panic on the Rams. I was actually going to say peace because of the division they're in. I feel like the 49ers, they're a great team,
Hmm.
but I see them down the road folding because they've done that multiple times. Even though it's been pretty late, it's been NFC Championship a lot of time where they fold. They still are folding at one point.
Yeah.
So and defensively they're great, but offensively you just can't rely on Jimmy G. So I thought that. And then with the Cardinals too, they've folded multiple times too. So that's the other reason why I was like, Rams, they will figure out a win a game with Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. But like you said, Matt Stafford has not looked good. Like there's been a lot of things like yes, that O-line is not great. That O-line has been giving up a lot of sacks. They've let Matt Stafford get hit a lot. But that is not an excuse to throw 6 interceptions to 4 touchdowns as the reigning Super Bowl champion.
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Unacceptable.
Exactly. And to me, the biggest problem is I don't know what is wrong with Matt Stafford, but stop staring at Cooper Kupp. Like, I don't, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you doing? Cooper Kupp should not have had 19 targets.
That's
19
criminal.
catches.
That's criminal.
Like, what? Like,
He had 19 targets last game?
Like, 19 targets, 14 catches.
Last game?
Yes, against the Niners.
Jesus Christ.
And they lost 24-9. It wasn't close. And then you just keep doing the same thing over and over. Allen Robinson is over there. And it doesn't make sense because it's not like Allen Robinson's a bad
He's showing
receiver.
Tyler Higbee, though. At what point did we say Matthew Stafford, like, you got to throw to someone else? Like, when does Sean McVay say, hey, we know Cooper Kupp's great. Matthew, give someone else the ball.
Mhm.
You have to.
And we
you
see
don't
who
have
he's
a run
throwing the
game.
ball to.
Palm colored.
I won't say it. I won't say it. But we see.
Yeah,
we see what's happening and who he's throwing the ball
We
to.
see, man.
Even that dude Skowronek,
Yes.
I don't even know
I'm
his
like,
name.
Ben Skowronek should not be getting the ball more than Allen Robinson. Let's get real here, bro. Let's get real here.
Bro,
I can understand
that doesn't
Tyler
make
Higbee.
sense.
Tyler Higbee's like that. He's nice. But come on, man. You
Exactly.
got to show some love to your receivers, bro. I guess
Exactly,
also with
man.
Van Jefferson not being there, that's kind of affecting them
But
too.
I think one of the things is that Matt Stafford showed this when he was the Lions. He has his guys. He has guys that he likes to go to over and over. That's why Megatron got abused out there with the Lions too.
Absolutely.
He was and that's when Matt Stafford was looked at as a mediocre quarterback because his problem was that he relied on him too much. Megatron left, Matt Stafford raised. He got so much better, and people started looking at him as, well, if we get him on a good team, maybe they could win a Super Bowl. And they did do that.
Yeah.
And it worked with Cooper Kupp, but it worked in the end because they had Odell, a guy who could bounce off of him. Yes, that Matt Stafford actually seemed like he liked to throw to because he seemed like he was one of Matt Stafford's guys. Right now, I don't think Allen Robinson is Matt Stafford's guys. I don't know what it is, but they went out, they signed Allen Robinson, hoping that they could replace a guy like Odell because they don't know how long Odell was going to be out with the ACL injury. Right now, he's on his tour. If I'm the Rams and Matt Stafford, I'm calling Odell. Like, you got to get back here now.
No way I'm letting that man
We need
go
to
back
figure
to New
something
York.
out.
No way I'm
Exactly,
letting that man
bro.
go back to New York.
So
They don't have a
right
run
now-
game either, so that's what really sets
None.
makes the passing even more egregious. Like
worse.
God,
Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson have been up and down, back and
yes,
forth. Like,
both of them
they're
is
run-
mid
they're-
on mid. You gotta trade for a running back
Exactly.
at this point. Like
and then their O-line's okay. It's not great. Defense is it's up and down. They've got big name players.
they got
but
a
it's
lot
not
of
like
names,
they're
but these
playing
guys
great
aren't
right
playing
now.
great as a collective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
They're
Bobby
better
Wagner, Aaron
defenses.
Donald, and then Jalen Ramsey. Like, you should
Jacksonville's
be
playing better defensively.
On God, like you shouldn't. When you have those three names that I just listed, 24 points to Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo should not be giving up. Come on, man.
No,
you should not be giving
no,
up
sir.
24 to Jimmy G. And
absolutely not.
That's insane.
That's crazy. But on the Bengals, I'm also gonna say panic. So this is what I feel about the Bengals. They're a great team, but right now, I think they're already playing for a wild card. The Ravens are on one. They have barely lost. They should be 4-0 right now. We just talked about it. They have barely lost those 2 games that they did lose in the last 14 seconds. And those were comebacks that you can really blame on a sorry defensive backfield for the Ravens that has not showed up the way that they were supposed to this season. So I think that the Ravens are going to figure out a way to get it together, wrap it up on the defensive side, and then that's all they need to do to go through the rest of the season and kind of steamroll things as long as Lamar and everybody stays healthy.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, Cinderella year. I said this.
Yeah.
He had a great season.
He did.
And he did the same thing with LSU. He is a guy who can really get really hot and really just drag a team when they need it. But we've seen this. Jamar Chase has not been the same right now, the way that teams are playing coverage on him. Their defense did look solid against the Dolphins, but we saw Tua go down, and we don't know what it's going to look like further after that. And then we saw Joe Burrow. He has those random games where he throws 3-4 picks out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he just looks absolutely lost.
Would you
on
say
the
he's the modern day Eli Manning?
I never thought about that. That's a good comparison because Eli Manning would look absolutely world beater, and then he would go out and throw 3 picks next game.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. That's a good one. Tony Romo used to just
no cap. Number 9 too. That's crazy.
Oh God. Yep, that's facts. But I think it's time to panic on the Bengals. And the other thing is just the AFC, like we said, a lot of great teams.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of great teams. And since they're playing for a wild card, I can see them making that wild card. But in terms of panic, what I'm saying is that they're not challenging for a Super Bowl this year.
No.
To me, they're not. I can't consider them a contender in my eyes. I don't see them contending for a Super Bowl this season when you have teams like the Chargers, the Chiefs, that I think would both beat them. Who else? The Bills that I think would beat them. The Ravens would beat them. I don't know what the Dolphins would do with Tua healthy. There's a lot of teams, in my opinion, that you could look at today and be like, okay, I don't know if they make that wild card because of all these teams in here. So I really only see one AFC North team making it, and that's the Ravens, because the rest of the division doesn't look like they're going to be great, especially the Steelers and Browns, unless Deshaun Watson can turn something around whenever he gets back.
Yeah.
But we'll see what it's like for them. Right now, Joe Burrow's QB rating, 49.4.
That's terrible. That's
gross.
That is criminal. It is hard, man. This is my guy. I fuck with Joe Burrow for sure. With me being an LSU fan, so like, it's absolutely insane that he's playing like this, but he is playing like this. Let's see. I'm hoping they can get the ball rolling. Him and Jamar, because it's been a tough year for both of those guys, honestly. But yeah,
I think they can figure it out, though.
Yeah,
I think they can figure it out, but I don't see them doing it this year. I think this will be another learning year for Joe Burrow.
They're young, so this could be another learning year for sure. Year 4.
To me, this is what you would consider Joe Burrow's sophomore slump. His first year got hurt. You couldn't really say that was his first rookie full season. Last season, that was his first full season. That was a rookie season. To me, this is his sophomore slump this year.
Yeah.
But I think in the future, he is still their franchise quarterback.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
But that is it for today. Finally wrapping it up.
That was a good episode, bro. Yeah, that was a really good episode, man.
Once again, cheering. But, we had a great episode. Would love to have you once again, Don.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of great basketball, great football takes. Of course, we're about to get into these bets now.
We're about to jump in.
Yes, sir. We're about to go straight into it.
And Prize Picks, y'all need to get this man a sponsorship, man. Like, for real.
Me.
Like,
Prize Picks, mess with me.
No cap.
Please.
Prize Picks, anything, underdog. Show us some love, man. For real.
I be knowing, bro. I be knowing, especially college football. But like I said, this episode, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Of course, like, subscribe, comment on my YouTube. Everything is called At the Helm except for my TikTok. I have to wait until October 17th to change my name because it was like my first name that I had for the podcast. But once I change that, you guys will see it. But I post the links to that everywhere. So even though it's not the same name, you can still find it. But once again, thank you, Don. Can't wait to have you again. And the next time with Danny too.
Absolutely,
I'm going to love that.
Bro, that's going to be interesting.
Great episode. We'll see y'all next time. Deuce, deuce.
Deuce.